There is a weapon system that Iran has spent 15 years trying to counter. Not a missile, not a stealth aircraft, not an aircraft carrier, a network. In this scenario, at 1:43 a.m. over the Persian Gulf, that network activated for the first time in its complete configuration. Every sensor, every shooter, every electronic warfare platform, every intelligence asset, all of them talking to each other simultaneously, all of them focused on one objective: Iran's $4.2 billion secret underwater program. For 3 years, in this simulation, the IRGC had been quietly constructing something beneath the Persian Gulf that they believed no American intelligence asset could find. A network of underwater sensor arrays, acoustic monitoring stations, submarine communication relays. All of it designed to give Iran persistent underwater surveillance of every American vessel transiting the Persian Gulf. The system that was supposed to make the Persian Gulf Iranian waters permanently. It cost $4.2 billion. It took 3 years to build. It employed over 400 Iranian naval engineers and technicians. In this scenario, it lasted until 1:43 a.m. because the U.S. Navy deployed something over the Persian Gulf that Tehran had no answer for. Not one system, not one aircraft, not one weapon. The complete integrated kill chain, every piece, all at once, for the first time. And Iran's $4.2 billion investment, built in secret over 3 years, was neutralized before a single Iranian operator knew the operation had begun. This is that story. To understand what Iran was actually building, you need to understand what underwater surveillance dominance in the Persian Gulf would have meant. The Persian Gulf is shallow. Average depth, 50 meters. Maximum depth, 90 meters. These conditions make submarine operations extremely difficult, but they make underwater sensor networks extremely effective. A distributed network of acoustic monitoring stations on the Persian Gulf floor, positioned correctly, can track every vessel transiting the Gulf, every American destroyer, every carrier strike group, every submarine attempting to operate in these waters. In this scenario, Iran was not building a weapon, they were building awareness, complete persistent underwater awareness of every American military asset in the Persian Gulf. With that awareness, Iran's swarm doctrine of missile batteries and submarine fleet could be coordinated with a precision that no previous Iranian operation had ever achieved. Every attack perfectly timed, every defensive response anticipated, every American vessel tracked from the moment it entered the Gulf to the moment it left. $4.2 billion for permanent awareness, permanent advantage, permanent leverage over the waters that carry 20% of the world's oil. In this simulation, it was the most ambitious Iranian naval intelligence program ever attempted, and it was built in complete secrecy. Or so Tehran believed. Here is what Iran did not account for. In this scenario, the U.S. Navy had been watching the construction of Iran's underwater sensor network for 26 months, not suspecting it existed, watching it being built, component by component, installation by installation. The intelligence collection that made this possible was not a single system. It was a layered architecture that Iran had no way to detect or counter. At the deepest layer, USS Indiana and USS Connecticut, 2 Virginia-class attack submarines, positioned in the Persian Gulf for rotating 90-day deployments since the program began. Their advanced sonar arrays had been recording every acoustic signature associated with underwater construction activity since the first Iranian installation team entered the water 26 months earlier. Above the surface, a constellation of U.S. Navy undersea warfare satellites, thermal imaging capable of detecting the temperature differential created by underwater construction equipment at depth, every installation location mapped, every cable run tracked, every acoustic relay station identified. And in the electromagnetic spectrum, the P-8A Poseidon fleet operating continuous rotations from Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. Its magnetic anomaly detection systems mapping every metallic object placed on the Persian Gulf floor over 26 months of patient surveillance. In this scenario, by the time the operation activated, U.S. Naval Command had a more complete picture of Iran's $4.2 billion underwater sensor network than the Iranian engineers who built it. Every node, every cable junction, every acoustic relay, every power source, all of it mapped, all of it targeted, all of it waiting. 1:43 a.m. In this scenario, U.S. Naval Command activates Operation E. A-18G Growlers launch from USS Gerald R. Ford. 4 aircraft, climbing to 24,000 feet above the Persian Gulf. Their mission: sever every Iranian naval communication frequency simultaneously the moment the operation begins. Prevent any Iranian coastal station from alerting underwater maintenance teams or activating defensive protocols. 1:47 a.m. Growlers reach operational altitude. Begin recording final electronic signature confirmation of all Iranian coastal monitoring stations connected to the underwater network. 14 stations along the Iranian coastline, all active, all confirmed. 1:52 a.m. P-8A, Poseidon activates final sonobuoy deployment pattern. 47 sonobuoys dropped in mathematically precise positions directly above the mapped locations of Iran's underwater network nodes. Each sonobuoy transmitting real-time acoustic confirmation of node activity to USS Gerald R. Ford Combat Direction Center via Link 16. The 1:54 a.m. Complete network confirmed active. All 43 nodes of Iran's $4.2 billion underwater sensor system operational, transmitting, unaware. 1:55 a.m. In this simulation, USS Gerald R. Ford Combat Direction Center transmits final targeting confirmation to all shooters. 43 underwater nodes, 14 coastal monitoring stations, complete network, all targeted simultaneously. 1:57 a.m. EA-18G Growlers activate full spectrum jamming. All 14 Iranian coastal monitoring stations electronically severed from the underwater network in 6.4 seconds. Iranian operators at coastal stations watching their screens go dark simultaneously. No warning, no gradual degradation, simply dark. 1:58 a.m. USS Indiana activates its AN/BLQ-10 electronic warfare system from beneath the surface. Directed specifically at the underwater acoustic relay stations, the nodes that allow Iran's underwater sensors to communicate with each other. Relay stations begin receiving conflicting signals. Network coordination collapses. 2:01 a.m. USS Gerald R. Ford launches first strike wave. 12 F/A-18 Super Hornets, armed with AGM-154J SOW glide bombs and Mk-54 lightweight torpedoes modified for bottom strike operations, targeting the 14 coastal monitoring stations that form the surface interface of Iran's underwater network. 2:03 a.m. P-8A, Poseidon launches first salvo of Mark 54 lightweight torpedoes, modified for shallow water, bottom strike operations. Targeting the 12 deepest nodes of Iran's underwater network, the acoustic relay stations that cannot be reached by surface-launched weapons. Being 2:04 a.m. First, JSOW glide bombs reach Iranian coastal monitoring stations. Sequential detonations along 800 kilometers of Iranian coastline. All 14 stations neutralized within 90 seconds of each other. The surface interface of Iran's $4.2 billion network gone. 2:07 a.m. Mk-54 torpedoes reach bottom strike coordinates. 12 underwater acoustic relay stations, each one mapped to within 2 meters of accuracy over 26 months of surveillance. Sequential detonations across the Persian Gulf floor. The deep network coordination layer gone. 2:09 a.m. USS Indiana and USS Connecticut activate coordinated active sonar sweep. Directed at the remaining shallow water sensor nodes, the acoustic energy at close range, physically sufficient to disable the delicate sensor arrays without requiring additional weapons expenditure. 19 shallow water nodes disabled by acoustic overpressure. 2:11 a.m., P8A confirms 0 active acoustic signatures from any node in Iran's underwater network. Complete network neutralized. 2:14 a.m., EA-18G growlers stand down jamming. Iranian coastal stations, now destroyed, cannot reactivate. Iranian Naval Command attempting to reach monitoring stations on emergency frequencies. No response from any of the 14 locations. 2:17 a.m., USS Gerald R. Ford Combat Direction Center transmits operational assessment. In this scenario, Iran's $4.2 billion underwater sensor network, 43 nodes, 14 coastal stations, 3 years of construction, 1 night, 34 minutes, neutralized. In this scenario, the silence was complete. By 2:17 a.m., every node in Iran's underwater sensor network was dark. Every coastal monitoring station was neutralized. The $4.2 billion system that was supposed to give Iran permanent underwater awareness of American naval movements in the Persian Gulf was generating 0 data. Iranian Naval Command, attempting to reach monitoring stations, received no response. Attempting to query underwater nodes received no response. Attempting to activate backup communication protocols received no response. In this simulation, the system simply ceased to exist. Iranian state media, in this scenario, said nothing, because officially, the system did not exist. Acknowledging its neutralization required acknowledging it had been built. Acknowledging it had been built required acknowledging that Iran had spent $4.2 billion on a classified underwater surveillance program in the Persian Gulf. A program that U.S. naval intelligence had been monitoring for 26 months. A program whose complete architecture was mapped before the operation began. A program that lasted 34 minutes once the U.S. Navy decided it was time for it to end. The Persian Gulf, in this scenario, remained open to American naval operations. Every carrier transit, every destroyer patrol, every submarine deployment, all of them continuing exactly as before. With the difference that the network Iran had built to watch them was gone. Here is what this scenario proved about the future of underwater warfare in the Persian Gulf. Iran identified a genuine strategic opportunity. The Persian Gulf's shallow waters make American submarine operations difficult. A persistent underwater sensor network, if it could be built and operated without American knowledge, would fundamentally alter the intelligence balance in these waters. The concept was sound. The investment was serious, the engineering was sophisticated, and it was neutralized in 34 minutes, not because the network was poorly built, not because Iranian engineers made technical errors, but because the surveillance architecture the United States maintains over the Persian Gulf is so complete, so persistent, so multi-layered, that building anything significant in these waters without American knowledge is effectively impossible. Virginia-class submarines recording acoustic signatures for 26 months. Satellites mapping thermal signatures of underwater construction. BT Saho 8. A magnetic anomaly. Detection tracking every metallic object placed on the Persian Gulf floor. All of it feeding a picture so complete that U.S. Naval Command knew the location of every node in Iran's network before the network was finished being built. Iran built a system to watch the U.S. Navy in the Persian Gulf. In this simulation, the U.S. Navy watched Iran build it for 26 months, and then spent 34 minutes making sure it would never transmit a single data point. Tehran deployed $4.2 billion to answer a question. In this scenario, the U.S. Navy answered first. The Persian Gulf is open, the network is dark, and somewhere beneath the Persian Gulf, 2 Virginia-class submarines are continuing their patrol, watching, as they always have been. Here is my question to you. In this scenario, Iran spent $4.2 billion and 3 years building an underwater surveillance network that U.S. naval intelligence monitored for 26 months before neutralizing it in 34 minutes. Do you think any nation can build significant military infrastructure in the Persian Gulf without American surveillance detecting it? Or has the combination of submarine acoustics, satellite thermal imaging, and magnetic anomaly detection made the Persian Gulf effectively transparent to American intelligence? Comment below. I read every single one. If this breakdown changed how you understand underwater warfare and intelligence dominance, hit the like button and subscribe, because the next classified file is already being unlocked. Trust me, you will not want to miss it. The events, dialogues, military operations, and outcomes depicted in this video are entirely fictional and created purely for educational and entertainment purposes. This is a hypothetical what-if scenario based on publicly available information about real-world military capabilities, weapon systems, and geopolitical tensions. No part of this video should be interpreted as a factual report of real events. All military engagements, casualty figures, and operational details shown are dramatized and do not represent actual incidents. We do not glorify war or violence. Our goal is to analyze military technology and doctrine in an engaging format. Viewer discretion is advised.